Alright, so in this class today, what we did first was we took a formative assessment in class. It was very basic numbers. That was so I could give feedback. Your assessment that you're going to be having in here in class whenever you get back or whenever you show up tomorrow is going to have more realistic numbers. So let's look at those types of problems before we move on to the class practice, or before our class does that. It does help if you write it down. So even though it's not on that note guide, I would say write it down. I'd say pause the video if you need to get paper, because this is pretty much the questions on your quiz for tomorrow. So make sure you're ready for that stuff. On A, we're looking at x on the right. X is adding 37, so we want to offset that by subtracting 37. By the way, if at any point you want to pause the video to try it on your own, that's a good idea. 8 minus 7, 1. 6 minus 3, 3. Bring down the x. Those two things cancel. That is our answer. X is 31. On B, again, pause if you need to, if you want to challenge yourself. This x is subtracting 32, so we need to move it by adding 32. It's three choices that we have: add, subtract, divide. Those are the only three things we know right now. So 4 plus 2 is 6, 7 plus 3 is 10. 106 would be your answer for x, as that cancels out. Alright, so again, these are the questions you're going to see. Be ready for them. On C, again, pause it if you need to. I'm just going to walk through these things and give you a chance to kind of remember them. X is over here being added to a positive 9, so the way we move that 9 is by subtracting 9, or using a negative 9, so to speak. X comes down, those 9s cancel. Negative 10 and negative 9, remember they're both negative, so they work together to make negative 19. This is not multiplication. This is combination or combining, where you're all negatives, and so you'd have 19 negatives on the table. Look at this next one here. Again, pause if you need to. X is over here being added to negative 5, which means we have to move this negative 5 by adding 5. That goes away. This comes down. Negative 7 and positive 5 make negative 2. Yes, there will be decimals on this problem as well, but they shouldn't be that tough. It's just decimals. I didn't make them anything tricky, just to make sure you get used to working with decimals as well. But go ahead and pause E for a second if you need to. As you work through that, you want to again recognize that x is over here with a positive being added to 2.3, so we're going to subtract 2.3. Remember to line up your decimals. That cancels. This will be 4, that'll be 7, and the decimal comes down being 7.4. Again, nothing really tough. Not trying to challenge you on your decimal addition or subtraction. We already done that before. This is just to make sure you're aware that decimals can be here too. Try F if you want to. Pause the video if that's what you're going to do. Here it's x minus 4.8. They're being subtracted, so negative 4.8 needs to be moved with a plus 4.8. X comes down. This goes away. 9 plus 8, 17. Carry the 1. That makes 8. Decimal comes down right there with the 8.7 being your answer. If you're going to try G, go ahead and pause that for a second to see what you got. X is on the right with 3, but this is not being added, this is being multiplied. So the fact that it's being multiplied means I need to divide by 3. This is the one where it's a big number, so you ask yourself how many times 3 goes into 16. That would be 5 times. That would be 15, which leaves 1 over. 3 goes into 12 4 times. That is our answer. Drawing this wall here. X, even though that is like the ones where we start with a negative like here, it's not the same because that's being multiplied. Once we recognize being multiplied, we're going to divide by whatever is attached to it, not the opposite, because in that case you're combining. So you're combining positive 5 and negative 5, but you want to divide by negative 7 because 2 negatives leaves us with a positive canceled out. And then here, you know your answer is going to be negative. That's the first thing because the signs are different. 7 goes into 16 twice. That gets me up to 14 with 2 left over. 7 goes into 21. 3 times, giving me negative 23 is my answer. And that is all. Here, negative 80 equals 8x. Again, pause that if you need to, if you want to try it out. These two things are being multiplied, so we will divide both of these sides. 1 in the negative, so we know it's negative. A divided by 8 is 10. 8 goes into 8 once, 0 left over. 8 goes into 0 0 times. That would be our answer there. And again, the 8 divided by 8 cancels. That's why we put 1 on the top and bottom. And then try J if you don't mind, if you want to. This is being multiplied by negative 4, so we divide by negative 4. These two things cancel. X comes down. There are 2 negatives, so I know it's positive. No need for a sign. 20 divided by 4 is 5. So use the worksheet from today to focus on the actual quiz questions first. Actually, you won't. If you're not in class, it wouldn't matter. But after you've done your best on the solving part, then move on to the review portion. Again, just make sure you're trying to follow the format. I hope you wrote those things down for yourself, especially if you're at home. Your test is next Friday. So regardless of whether you were there this week or not, your test is next Friday. So make sure that you are trying to keep up with this stuff. Outside of that, I'll talk to you later, and good luck.